In this video, you're gonna see me run our very first sanctioned USPA powerlifting meet. You're gonna see the good, the bad, the ugly. And after this, hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and run one yourself if you're looking to run your own powerlifting meet in your own gym. Follow my journey. I don't really expect to make a ton of money out of this event. This is actually more of like a 9-year anniversary. We've always wanted to do one and we're finally doing it type of thing. And we just want to make this a good event. We'll probably make our money back in future events. But to get this one rocking and rolling, I reached out to an old buddy of mine that's been in the powerlifting scene for a while, and he's been helping me kind of run this. So it's a tack on barbell. You can see behind me, but it's a themed meet. It's one of the things that I kind of wanted to do is more of a themed type event. So if you're a big anime fan, Attack on Titan fan, then you get the reference. And a lot of lifters, we capped it at 45 because I want to keep it small for our first one. We have to turn away people from what I've heard, but you know, and you know, we built out warm-up platforms. We rented the porta potties, the chairs. I'll go over like how much that all cost, and how much we're charging at the door. We're charging what, 15 at the door. We're selling food. And we're selling merch, and that's pretty much it. And our space isn't the craziest. It's 2,500 square feet. Some of the items that I did buy is like those big black curtains to kind of wall off our warm-up area. Right over there is a garage. We have an outdoor area we're gonna open. Weather's not cooperating, but that's okay. We're gonna have some canopies out there for lifters and their judges. For, what was it? Their coaches, one coach per lifter, please, to kind of like go in and out. And that's how we're going to do this. And we're going to see how it goes. Spotters and loaders, I set out to have a ton of spotters and loaders. One of the biggest advices was get spotters and loaders who knew what the hell they were doing. And that's what we did. We got 11 spotters and loaders that are tried and true. They've been doing it before. I think a majority of them have done a meet before as far as spotting and loading. Definitely most of them, I would say 95% of them actually did a meet, like competed themselves. We have 1 or 2 people to be like an extra hand. You want spotters and loaders who are experienced to know what they're doing because they run the meet. I've also spent extra on the DJ and the MC because originally I was going to do it. But again, one of the biggest advices was don't do that if you're hosting it. You got to be the coordinator running around. If there's fires that need to be put out, you need to be putting out those fires. And that's what I'm doing. So going into, we're going to show you the day of the event. And then the next part would be me going over how it went, the good, the bad, the ugly, what I've learned, and hopefully from this you can take, if you're running a first meet, you can learn from my mistakes and make a better one. Here's a fun one. The weather sucks, which is fine. It's all right. It's not bad. So I think it's appropriate weather for Attack on Titan themed powerlifting event, because everything's not sunshine and rainbows in Attack on Titan. But another thing is for the porta potties, I have to move one of them because that's on me. We put it in front of one of our tenants' doors. It's not happy about it, so we'll figure this out. Okay. One of them has a sink in there, so it was harder to move than usual, but we fixed that. Another fire that was put out. One of the biggest problems we had already that we ran into, the weigh-ins. People came to the weigh-in. I did not expect, I haven't done this in a while. It's been 10 years since I last competed. So I had no idea, like majority of the lifters were gonna come into the gym and get weighed in and get the rack heights and all that. And it was a clusterfuck, to say the least, as far as for my business, because you know, we're a training business. We're a personal training business. So we're not an open gym. People don't just come in and out to lift. Like, we train clients. They pay us a good amount of money to train them individually. And you kind of get the gist of that. So when you have a crowd of like lifters who are excited to be in the gym, like excited, they were giving us our, you know, our flowers, our love, like they would love the layout. they were kind of in. And it's not their fault. It was my fault. I didn't address to the trainers. The trainers were pissed. My trainers were pissed that, you know, it was just being very crowded. It was just it wasn't the greatest logistic move. So lesson number one is when you are doing weigh-ins and if you're busy during that time, make sure you have a dedicated area to funnel the competitors in so they can weigh in, get their rack heights, and then leave where they're not in the way of whatever your service is, classes, semi-private, personal training, or just whatever you have going on. So that was one of the biggest lessons I learned. That was on me. So, you know, I hashed it out. I, you know, figured it out with the coaches and they understood, but it's just one of those things like, oh shit, I didn't even know. And that's on me. But another one was, you know, when you coordinate things like the porta potties and chairs coming in, you gotta like triple confirm when they're coming in. Like I thought my porta potty guy was gonna be coming in like in the afternoon, but they were first thing in the morning, 7 a.m. They're hitting me up like, hey, where do we put this? And I'm like, what? Luckily, one of my coaches was coordinated with that. And yeah, and it was on me again. I didn't tell them where to put it. I mean, I told them exactly where I wanted to put it, but I totally forgot there was like a tenant who had a door right there, and they were pissed that the porta potty was in front. So I moved it myself. I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. And so, yeah, learning process. But for the most part, we got a lot of compliments of our open, you know, our open floor plan. It's not as, you know, congested as some other gyms you may look at, but it is one of the things we've been making sure that we get done. So this is the check-in area. Let's see how that goes. Don't underestimate trash cans. Putting trash cans everywhere so we can better manage the debris or the trash. Here's our merch right there. This is probably where the DJ is gonna be. This is the championship belt, bruh. So this is our house belt, but whoever the best lifter is, I'm gonna have him take a picture with it. Then this is the warm-up area. So I did the best I could to open everything up. And I know I'm probably gonna have like 15 lifters per flight, but there's like 3 racks right now. You can double up on a few of them, but making sure that you're like spotting each other. Trying to open up more space, and then we're gonna open up this when it gets during the day, so people can just kind of walk in and out. Probably move these later. Move these out of the way. Yeah, hopefully. And then people will walk here. They'll get ready. And then boom, platform is like literally right there. Boom, platform ready. And you're like, oh, fuck. So that's that. This is the calm before the storm. We have 48 lifters, 47. And then, I don't know how many spectators. We're expecting 80. And we'll see how this goes. We'll have the outside area, the back area open. And the team did a great job. Again, look at this. Like, the team did a great job helping us out. Helping me out, just lay everything out the way it needs to be. So hopefully it goes well, man. Gotta have coffee and donuts before a meet. Before any event, coffee and donuts is like a typical thing. I don't know, for me it's more traditional things like get all the sugary fat in you, get all the carbs, so you can just start being able to do or make decisions as you go. Because from my experience, you don't even get to eat during an event until later. Even when you bring the food in, you're selling food, you're just everywhere. So this is probably not all I'm gonna eat, but like, we'll see how it goes. I'm still in the deficit, 5 pounds down, let's fucking go. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. But yeah, here we go.
So, for the rule briefing, it's going to be a little bit longer just because if it's your first time, there seems to be a lot of you guys for the first time lifters. I'm going to go slow it down for the lifting purpose. So, you're going to
and then now I just need to figure out deadlifts. But yeah, so that's pretty much what it is so far. Go on, take a look. Huh? I just need another piece of paper.
Platforms ready. Brad's going to be attending 418 pounds, 190 kilos.
Hey, food's ready, Carlo.
Alright, so here we go.
I've done MPF.
Mr. Greg. Eric up next. Jerome on deck. And then Kevin D in the hole.
You're good.
Alright, y'all, Peter up next.
So we forgot the deadlift jack, and that's on me. Because there was a miscommunication there. I thought someone was bringing it. They thought I was bringing it. So now we're having someone right away bringing the deadlift jack. We're still going through deadlifts. We found it. We got a deadlift jack. Everything's back in action. Win. That's a win. That's a win, bruh. And now the cleanup begins. The less glamorous part is cleaning the gym after a meet. So at the time of this recording, it's been several weeks since the end of Attack on Barbell. I'm recording this in December, so it's just been a lot. I wanted to kind of take it in. I was also very tired. It was a great event. Lovely feedback. We had about 140 plus, I think, people who came out to watch their lifters, a group of lifters. I had a lot of coaches from other gyms in the area come out. That was truly a blessing. And people who would otherwise not know who we are came out to see the gym. And so it was a great experience. We sold about maybe 60 plus plates and I think 60 plus shirts and maybe a few hoodies and maybe a few other shirts that we weren't really selling at the time. And again, I'm really bad at the merch game, at the apparel, the swag, whatever. It's just my focus isn't really selling shirts. And cool, I mean, we have great designs. Like, shout out to Roberto. But that's my next phase. But for the most part, I am going to give you some general ballpark figures of the aftermath of how much we spent, how much we make. Did we come out? Did we break even? Did we make a profit? Did we lose money? And actually, yeah, I just actually had a meeting with our CPA to kind of talk about. He's also my financial, strategist, I guess you could say that. But he's actually in the powerlifting community too. But he's been helping us a lot. Shout out to Shamal, and he's been helping us a lot, kind of figure out like how much does it make sense to go for a powerlifting meet in the spring, or should we make this an annual thing? So just to give you ballpark, so there's two main organizations who held this powerlifting meet. We ran it with USPA, and the meet director took care of the judges, took care of the platform, took care of the equipment that's needed for the competition. He took care of making it sanctioned, getting it out there, and shout out to Keith. He was the meet director. And the thing and here's my advice to anyone now that I've done one myself, right? So if you're looking for advice, I'm gonna give it. If you're not, that's okay. I'm not gonna get up a butthurt. But a little context, right? I met Keith as a rookie trainer way back in like 2007, 8. As he used to be one of the OG, he was a powerlifter back in this one gym I used to work out at Campbell, Right Stuff Health Club in Campbell. And he introduced me to the sport of powerlifting. I didn't really partake into it until several years later, but I was aware of him. But he's, well respected in the community. People love working with him. So if you're gonna host your first ever powerlifting meet, it's good to get in with someone who's been there, who knows how to do it themselves and has a lot of support and a solid community behind him. And it just so happens like, the circle that he runs with and the circle I run around with, we kind of know the same people, a lot of the same people. So it was just very natural to ask him. And I was very fortunate and blessed in the moment to have him host our first meet, because it was a great harmonious relationship, and as a way of like, he had his thing, he brought out people, he could bring out people, and me as the new, I ran the gym, I've done the thing, but it's another thing to be respected in the community and also have that pull. And that's what really helped this competition, this event, be a true success. Is like I was working with someone who like had a lot of people always supporting him and would always come out to support him in the event. And he was graceful enough to like help me out, because he's like, hey man, whenever you want to do one, let me know. And he really helped us out. So I told him it was like an anime themed event, and he was like, what? What is that? Okay, sure. Like, and I was like, I want to name it Attack on Barbell, and I want to do this. And he's like, whatever you want, man. So just having a great working relationship like that helps a lot when you're throwing your first event. I'm not saying like go out and find the most popular meet director or whatever, but it just helps. And finding someone who's willing to help you and not so much like, yeah, man, I want to make so much fucking money right now. Like, how much can you pull in your gym? Like, nah, the whole focus was just creating a really good event. And that was from the get-go. So that's what we did. And so he ran the meet side. I ran the more of the hosting of the event, the facilities aspect, the getting the chairs and the black curtains and the porta potties. But I would, or providing food if I wanted to. And my whole goal was to create a great experience for the spectators, the judges, and the lifters. So I wanted to make sure like they had their own private space. I wanted to make sure the judges and refs were, refs, the spotters and loaders. I had to the meet director also could have recruited more spotters and loaders, but I took it upon myself to find like the legit spotters and loaders. So, what was it? So yeah, I was in charge of all that. So he made his money through the registration fees. I made my money through the spectator fees. We charged $15. I started at 15. I know people were telling me you should charge 20 because they're gonna come out regardless. And that's very common now. I mean, man, back when I competed, it was like $5, $10. So I was like 20. So I thought, let me start at 15. So I charged 15 at the door. I think Keith charged like 110 for a meet to register for lifters. So we had about 45 to 47 lifters, and we had about 140 spectators. So in general, the meet generated around 10,000. My side, our side, we were able to keep 4,500 of that. I think we did make a percentage of the total cost of the meet, like a small percentage, but we made out about 4,500, give or take. Again, these are ballpark numbers. I know I can be super nuanced about it, but just general ballpark, that's how much we kind of made. How much we spent though was probably around $8,000. And the reason is total, and the reason is I overspent on food. I overspent on how much merch I wanted to sell. I overspent, and also I bought the backdrop. I bought the black curtains. I bought things that, the black curtains in general were like $1,000 on Amazon. The backdrop was like $700 to get made custom. And those are things that I'm gonna reuse. Like, because it was our first meet, it was a lot of startup type costs. But just making those adjustments of, also, I bought a lot of food to, like my boy, Chef Kevin, he was selling food, and I pitched in to buy all the food for him, and he would cook it and I would sell it. We were charging $15 a plate. I think we could have gotten away with maybe $18 a plate, but he was giving fat portions. These were Hawaiian plate lunches. Like he was grilling the chicken, he would marinate it. It was hella good. like mac salad, rice, all that, but we were giving fat portions. But on top of that, I spent $1,000 on like king egg roll and food. I'm Filipino, so I wanted to feed the people who were helping us. So spotters and loaders for sure. The refs, the judges, the meet director, the staff, I bought food for them so they can eat on site. And we kind of got into a kind of a thing where like spectators thought that food was for sale, like Chinese food. We had fried rice, we had egg rolls, we had the fried chicken drumlets from King Egg Roll. If you're from San Jose, you know what I'm talking about. The King Egg Roll, the one on Berryessa and Lundy, not the other copycats. But yeah, oh my God, I'm like went on a rant. But yeah, I overspent on a few things, and we charged probably $15 at the door. So we will make this an annual thing. We will make this a November, like basically Attack on Barbell 2, Attack on Barbell 3. It was a lot of great feedback. There were some things that we could have improved on, like remembering to get a deadlift jack. That was scary as shit. But it wasn't just like I had to go out and like borrow equipment from other gyms. Believe it or not, I had to like reach out to Hella Strength, which is another gym in the Bay Area. They helped us out with the deadlift jack. They helped us out with the lights. And then I had to like one of my MVPs for this meet was one of my coaches who worked for me, Gabe, coach. We called him the Wolverine, but he was able to like bring me the Avengers of spotters and loaders, and that's what makes the meet run well. We had like about 45 lifters. We started at 9 a.m., went all the way to like 3:59, and with awards and everything. With awards, everything out the door, everyone was gone by 4 p.m. Like everyone was leaving by 4 p.m. And that's a feat because powerlifting meets run pretty long. So spotters and loaders were like key. I had to assemble the Avengers of spotters and loaders. And I told them like I was gonna pay them. I paid them like $50 to $100 depending on their experience level. I was gonna give them merch. I was gonna give them food. Like, I need you to help me do this meet. And we got like a team of 12, and half of these guys were like powerlifting coaches who've done this before, who could coordinate everything, and that helped a lot. We had a few people who did competitions and wanted to just volunteer and help, and then a couple of them were my football players. So it always helps doing all that. But at the end of the day, that's what really helped this meet run well for the first time. It was getting right with the meet director, getting the community already established behind us. Definitely promoting it, but assembling a team of spotters and loaders that knew what the hell they were doing and were down for the cause and helped us out, and just taking care of the rest of the judges. Like, that was a big part for me. So things I would do different, I would charge more. I'm going to charge more. I'm going to charge $20 at the door for the next Attack on Barbell powerlifting meet. That's just that. We're going to make it all, when it's food based, it's just all Chef Kevin. I'm not going to buy any extra food. Like, everyone's going to get food from Chef Kevin, so I don't have to overpay on food, because there was a lot of leftovers. That was on me. And we already have the established amount of material that we need, and we may increase the lifting capacity from 45 to maybe 55 or even 60 lifters. With that, everything said and done, we may be able to pull in an extra, after everything's paid for, we may be able to pull in an extra $2K for that day, and that's the goal, right? To kind of, we want to make money off these events, these one-off events. But one of the biggest ones that really, really hit me hard was, this was my year 9 in the business, and I've always wanted to do an event like this. And it was always, our space was always too small, or we weren't making enough, or this and the other. But we did it for this year, and to see everyone in that gym, like, just coming together like that, like, I teared up several times. Because as a business owner, it's like those small wins, right? Like, of course, you start a business, you want to like make money, and like, I want to be financially free and make the millions. But for me, intrinsically, I am very purpose driven. I am very like mission driven. Sometimes you argue, maybe I should do a nonprofit and all that, but to see all those people in there, like, it was packed. People were loving it. People were lifting. They were competing. It was something that that energy was great, and I constantly want to foster that. So we're definitely going to have a second meet, definitely in November. I need time to chill the hell out, regroup, reestablish what we can do better, what we can't. And that's that's a wrap for our first powerlifting meet. And hope you guys took away something. If you're trying to start your own powerlifting meet at your gym, feel free, use the tips and advice. I hope this helped you kind of get a little bit more insight of what you should do. Porta potties were definitely a must. Don't let anyone use your bathrooms. I've just seen it. Porta potties were definitely a must. I think those were like the porta potties. We had two toilets, one sink outside. It was like $800, $700. Maybe you could go cheaper if you find the right one. I just got the closest one to us to just do it. And so that's where it's at. If you have any questions or if you have any feedback, what we should do for the next meet, if you took part in it or if you've done powerlifting meets and things that I should maybe consider doing in the next one, please comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel as you follow my journey of building a gym, being a father, being a husband, all that fun stuff. And I will see you guys later. Okay, bye.